Hello, T.S.P readers. This is yours truly. Excuse me, the Stormy Poet. Very glad you could join me today or this evening, whatever type of, whatever part of the day that it is. To my Facebook family, YouTube family, everyone who interacts with me on my website, thank you for joining me today and taking the time to listen to this podcast. I'm really trying to get as much information and wisdom that I have about relationships out there, and I hope that it's benefiting a lot of folks out there. I really hope that I can make a difference with the voice that I have. But anyways, today I wanted to talk about something that I think a lot of people struggle with in regards to relationships, and what I'm referring to is forgiveness. Now, when we think of forgiveness, I really don't think people really have a understanding of what forgiveness actually looks like, or what the definition of it is. Without getting too into technical with the definition, I'm not going to look it up in the dictionary or anything like that, but I think judging off many things that I've read and even taking a Christian approach to it, looking in the Bible and kind of understanding like how forgiveness works, even from a Christian perspective. Forgiveness in and of itself does not really mean forgetting transgressions done against you. It simply is giving up your right to get even, or giving up your right to get back at that person, or not giving up your right, but kind of giving up the pursuit to cause that person harm or damage because they did wrongdoings to you. So that's essentially what forgiveness is. That's the actual physical, conscious act of releasing your need to babysit resentment. I heard a show a long time ago. It was a show I listened to in my 20s, where this guy would give advice to, it was like to young adults. I think it was Dawson McAllister. It was a long time ago. The show used to come on Sundays evenings, and I couldn't wait to listen to it because he would just drop so much knowledge as far as relationships and stuff like that. But one thing he said that really stood out to me, and I'll never forgot, is he said that sometimes forgiveness is a daily thing. Sometimes it could be an hour. Sometimes it's not necessarily it's just a one-time thing that you do with someone. Sometimes you'll just be sitting there, and especially if it's like your ex or a family member, and I'm not even just talking about, I know I said in terms of relationships, but I'm not even just talking about relationships. I'm talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about all relationships across the board. Forgiveness, he was saying that sometimes you'll just be sitting there and you'll remember something that your ex did, and it's human nature to kind of when those impulsive thoughts kind of pop up, to kind of babysit that anger, kind of just hold on to it and just kind of keep it festering in your spirit, and that's very unhealthy. That's scientifically been proven to be very unhealthy. It's very toxic to not only your physical body, but your mental health as well. It kind of corrupts you, and it's very acidic to the core of who you are as a person. So I think what we have to start understanding is how forgiveness really works, and in some instances it's I'm making the commitment to not go and cause that person harm or whatever, or anything like that. But it's also an internal thing, a personal thing, because here's the thing: when we hold these resentments and these hostilities towards people, whatever their transgressions are, in a sense, that's a way of trying to get back at them, right? That's wishing spite on them. That's cursing them. That's wishing them harm. That's kind of a form of revenge. It doesn't really, I don't know how effective it really is. It's really not, but that's in a sense our way of trying to get back at that person. So even if you're not going to go and slash their tires or bust the windows out of their car, you're still trying to get revenge in the sense of loathing them and babysitting that anger. And going and talking with your homegirls or your homeboys about how much of a, whatever your ex was, or any kind of relationship you had, kind of babysitting that anger is very unhealthy. And what Dawson McAllister was talking about is it can be a daily thing. Forgiveness can be something you may have to practice on a daily basis. You might just be sitting there thinking of something they did, and that could piss you off, and that within it, in and of itself, is not the sin. The sin is continuing to hold it and babysit it, kind of just keep it there, and invite that hostility and that resentment in. So when you forgive someone, you give up you give all that up. You release all that. You say, okay, yeah, I thought of something, let's say something pops in your head that they did. Let's say something pops in your head about, your ex that cheated on you or whatever. And you remember, an instance where, they disrespected you. Where you saw like a text or something and you figured out where they were cheating, or anything. Anything your ex did to you is disrespectful or something like that, and that pops in your head. The sin is not saying, the sin is not realizing, that was really terrible what they did. The sin is to just keep it in your spirit and to just keep locked onto it. Just focus on that. Instead of consciously telling yourself, you know what? I know that they did me dirty. I know that they did me wrong, but I choose not to hold on to that. And really kind of get into a place where, because here's the thing, the more you practice forgiveness, it almost kind of flexes your spiritual muscle. It doesn't, I wouldn't say it makes it easier, but once you kind of know how the process goes, it makes it, you learn to deal with hurt and rejection and betrayal in a more healthy and positive way. It still sucks, but it sucks less in the sense that you know how to deal with it in a healthy manner. So the more that you practice it, the more you start to really realize how your life changes or really start to see how your life can change for the better. So with all that out of the way, I really want to touch on another point of, really forgiveness, in the sense that a lot of people think that forgiveness constitutes to reconciliation. Now, before we move any further, I really want to disband that myth, because I feel that kind of seeing forgiveness in that light keeps a lot of people in really bad, jacked up situations, right? So, for instance, let's say someone's in an abusive relationship, whether that be physically or verbally, and they continue to stay in that situation because they say to themselves, or justify staying in that healthy situation for whatever reason, by saying that, okay, this person, I know that they physically harm, I know that they harmed me in some way, I know that they caused damage to me, but I forgive them because it was a mistake, and they perceive it as, I need to stay in this situation because I forgive them. No, forgiveness and reconciliation are two totally different things. So what I mean by that is, I can forgive someone, because all I'm doing, because if we go back to what we were talking about, it's really just giving up the pursuit of trying to get back at that person. So if we look at it in those contexts, I don't have to reconcile with you to forgive you. Now, if I figure our connection and our bond and the type of relationship we have is worth giving you another chance, and that's different. That's up for every person to decide for themselves. But I can tell you, in regards to relationships, if the crime that they're committing against you is habitual, or it's kind of like has a pattern to it, or it's kind of a lifestyle, like cheating. If cheating is a lifestyle for somebody and they have a long track record of it, or they've done it a million gazillion times, then you don't need to be staying in that situation. You need to move on. You can forgive them, but that's unhealthy to stay in that type of situation. So a lot of people constitute forgiveness to that, which is very, very, very dangerous. and again, regardless of how long you've been with someone or how strong your connection is, if it's habitual behavior, then you need to bounce, period. There's no justification for staying in a situation where you're getting your ass beat every night. So I definitely want to dispel that myth. That's not what forgiveness means. That's just staying in horrible situations due to whether it be low self-esteem or whatever. So definitely, forgiveness, that's not what it looks like. And to move on to the kind of like another talking point, I would say, as far as forgiveness goes, forgiveness really does take a lot of strength. It's indicative of a person with strong character who can forgive on a regular basis. So typically, and we kind of live in a society that kind of teaches you that forgiveness is weak and, screw everybody. You see all these little, buttery memes about, F everybody. I might as well be a butthole because everybody else is a butthole. I'm tired of putting my heart on the line. I'm tired of whatever. Those really just self-loathing memes, which I can't stand. But here's the thing. When forgiveness is actually, it takes strength. It takes character to forgive people. I like to look at it in the context of every human being walking this earth has done some type of evil. Everybody walking on this earth has hurt someone. Everybody walking on this earth has done someone dirty, and everyone on this earth has had to have been forgiven before. So, you got to get off the high horse first and foremost. And when you're looking at forgiveness, you got to get off the high horse. You can't be on this high horse and say, everybody else is this because that's really kind of arrogant. We all have fallen short of the glory of God, and we're all flawed in some way and hurt people in some ways. So we need to collectively start seeing forgiveness as a strength. It is a positive. It is something that is what the courageous do and are willing to do. And when we exercise forgiveness, we essentially open the door for the right kinds of people that need to be in our lives. When we hold on to bitterness and resentment, let's say in terms of relationships, you holding on to that bitterness and resentment is blocking the other positive men or women that want to come in your life and that could potentially be happy with you because you're holding on to that resentment and you're living that, self-loathing meme life of everybody's, why trust anybody and put my heart on the line. And what you start to do is you start to lump everybody into one category and you push away the men that are actually legit and everything, legit and actually and the men and the women that are the kind that are the best for you because you lumped everybody into one category and you're blinded by your own bitterness. And here's the thing is you can't go and you can't have a healthy relationship until you forgive the transgressions of your exes and understanding that sometimes or your ex or however many you got shit. But understanding that sometimes it is a daily thing. Number one, understanding that you need to forgiveness is crucial to you as a person. It's crucial to your success as a human being. It's vital for you to move forward and progress in your life in every area of your life. You have to realize that it's important. And then number three, it takes courage for that. That's indicative of a person of integrity, is their ability to forgive. So if we start seeing in those contexts and seeing the inability to forgive and not knowing how to forgive, we got to know what it is before we can practice it. Not knowing what forgiveness is and not practicing it, we bar all successful relationships. I see it all the time with a lot of men and women who are just mad. They don't even know that they're mad because, essentially we don't really do self-inventory a lot in our society. We're so busy, go. We don't even sit and stop and think and contemplate. So they don't even know that they're bitter and resentful, and they don't even know that it's necessary for them to give their past transgressors. We don't even, a lot of times men and women don't even know this, and so they're wondering why they're single all the way up until their damn 40s and why nobody wants them. And it's because they continue to attract the same type of very people that they're trying to repel, and they block out all the other people that are potentially the best for them because of their inability to forgive. So definitely some words to kind of contemplate. I kind of went over a lot there. Definitely feel free to rewind and listen to it all the way through. I hope I was able to give some insight today that was valuable in helping you have a healthy relationship. If you could, please feel free to check out my website, rootofalllove.com. That's my official website, The Levels of Love. I have a lot of different information, blogs I've written on relationships and kind of how it relates to, what misogyny has done to the sanctity of relationships between men and women. And also, feel free to donate any or contribute any dollar amount. You can check out my link. It's at the bottom in the description of this presentation on YouTube, and my donate link is everywhere. It's on the footer of my websites. Feel free to contribute any amount. Any amount helps, just for equipment and to get any kind of supplies I need to continue getting this information out to the masses. So I appreciate your time today. I hope you have a lovely, wonderful, and productive day. And thank you for tuning in. Peace.